This is the Owl on February 12, 2008. 5 years ago today, in the run-up to the Iraq War, we held a Patriot Act demonstration on the steps of the Bangor Public Library. We'll hear from civil liberties activist Phil Warden, and we'll hear from MC Ron Warner, who was really instrumental in putting this whole thing together. You'll also see our pro-human rights, pro-civil liberties literature on display, all under threat from the government.
Right now I'd like to turn the mic over to Phil Warden to say more on the Patriot Act.
Until just the last couple of years, I always thought it was clear that the worst and darkest days of our legal system were the witch trials in Salem. That the worst and darkest days of our legal system were the Salem witch trials. Nobody can defend the witch trials these days. But there's something about the witch trials that you ought to know. That at least in the witch trials, the witch was put on trial. And there was a judge. And the state had to produce evidence against her. That no longer seems to be the case. Jose Padilla is a United States citizen who is arrested on United States soil in Chicago and is held incommunicado with a right to an attorney without charges and without any kind of hearing in which any evidence will be produced against him. The United States Secretary of Defense Donald Rumsfeld explained that he has none of the constitutional rights afforded criminal defendants because they have no interest in pressing criminal charges against him. All they want to do is extract information from him, and they can hold him for as long as they want until they do that without hearings and without charges. The case of Yasser Hamdi is an American citizen born in Louisiana, currently held incommunicado in the naval brig in Virginia, without charges, without the right to an attorney, and without a hearing. His family petitioned the United States District Court under the for a writ of habeas corpus, claiming that confinement was illegal. And I have here the decision that came down just last month. It's not Germany in the 30s, and it's not going to happen here because we're not going to let it happen here. And when you do that and stand strong, I want you to know that you're standing in the very best traditions of American civil liberties.
I would like to read a letter I received this morning from Congressman Michoud. He's in Washington and couldn't be with us today, and he sent us this Total Information Awareness Program, a project intended to detect terrorists by monitoring email and databases for information. The Congress will ensure that this program cannot be used against Americans. Okay, I consider this a positive letter, and we are going to follow up on it with Congressman Michoud. And I thank him for sending this statement to us today. Good job, Congressman Michoud. A quote from the American Library Association statement on the Patriot Act.
Investigation. 2, hold hearings to determine the extent of the surveillance on library users and their communities. And 3, amend or change the sections of these laws and the guidelines that threaten or abridge the rights of inquiry and free expression.
First in our news, the Patriot Act. Does it do more to protect Americans or to rob them of their personal liberties?
The law took hold soon after 9/11 to give the federal government more power to investigate potential terrorists. Well, the Patriot Act sparked a local protest today. Local peace activists say the law has gone too far, allowing the government to spy on American citizens. Protesters held a rally outside the Bangor Public Library today to call for the repeal of the law. They say it lets intelligence agencies secretly invade privacy by scanning such materials as emails and book loans while suspending rights to due process.
Well, it allows all kinds of wiretapping, getting of information, invading privacy, in certain circumstances arresting people, doing sneak and peek searches rather than knock and announce searches. It's a 400-page statute, so it's hard to summarize easily, but there's a lot of areas there in which it can impact on just average citizens.
A spokesman for Senator Olympia Snowe says the Patriot Act provides the type of strong measures needed to fight terrorism, but Snowe says there is need to monitor the law carefully so it doesn't erode the very liberties that it seeks to protect. Senator Susan Collins says there are provisions written into the law to give the Senate oversight to guard against
Bangor
abuse.
Public Library to make that known.
Under the Patriot Act, the FBI and other law enforcement agents can enter your home when you're not there, ransack your files, use your computer, search your emails, and place a magic lantern on your computer to record your every keystroke.
Those rallying today were circulating a petition to repeal the Patriot Act. They say the government shouldn't be allowed to track people's book purchases or look at their library records, both provisions of the Patriot Act.
Providing appropriate tools required to intercept and obstruct terrorism. The act, created shortly after September 11th, gives intelligence workers the right to ask librarians for a borrower's list of books. But people here say that's a violation of civil rights. After the rally, protesters passed around a petition in hopes of repealing the Patriot Act.